I entered the alien princess's room. I never imagined you'd be so brave, human, she said. Alex Carter had never seen anything like the palace before. Its spires gleamed like liquid silver under the twin suns, stretching into the sky with impossible elegance. The air was filled with a subtle hum, a vibration that made his skin tingle. The planet of Zalaris was unlike any place he had ever visited. Humans had explored many worlds, but this one was different. Alive somehow, in ways that machines and probes could never measure. Alex adjusted the strap of his satchel and glanced around cautiously. He was not here for sightseeing. Humanity had sent him as a diplomatic envoy, but his mission had changed the moment intelligence reports hinted at a faction within the Zalarian court that was planning war. If he didn't act carefully, not only would negotiations fail, but a full-scale conflict could erupt, one that would be devastating for both worlds. The palace guards, tall and serpentine in shape, with iridescent scales and eyes that seemed to pierce through one's soul, patrolled the corridors. Alex stayed in the shadows, moving carefully along the polished floors. Every step echoed softly, and he imagined that a single wrong move could expose him. Yet curiosity, and perhaps a touch of recklessness, drove him forward. Somewhere deep inside, he felt that what he was about to discover could change everything. He had been given a general map of the palace, but many sections were marked as restricted. Among them was the Princess Lyra's private quarters, a place no human, or even most Zalarians, were allowed to enter. The idea of entering that room had not been part of his mission, yet when he passed a hidden door slightly ajar, a strange pull urged him forward. The door's edges shimmered faintly, as if it were alive, and the air coming from within carried the scent of rare alien flowers. Alex's heart pounded. "This is crazy," he muttered under his breath. "If they catch me." Walls of translucent crystal curved around him, glowing softly with colors that shifted like liquid light. Delicate tapestries hung from the ceiling, depicting star systems and scenes of diplomacy and peace from centuries past. In the center, a small pool of clear water reflected the room's colors, rippling as if it were breathing. Alex stood frozen, unable to take his eyes off the alien beauty surrounding him. Then he heard it, a soft, amused voice, melodic yet commanding, that made his chest tighten. "I never imagined you'd be so brave, human." Her hair seemed to shimmer like the surface of a liquid star, and her eyes were the deepest shade of violet he had ever seen. She did not raise a weapon, she merely regarded him with curiosity, an eyebrow slightly arched. I'm not here to intrude," Alex stammered. I didn't. Few dare to enter my room, few are still humans. But fear doesn't mean doing nothing. Sometimes courage is all you have. Tell me the truth." "But hiding behind walls and fear will only make it worse. That's why I came here. Even if it's dangerous, I have to try." He had not come for praise, but it gave him courage nonetheless. "I'm not here to impress you," he said steadily. "I'm here to help. Perhaps there is more to your kind than what the diplomats and soldiers have shown me. A human word, yet a rare concept here. You dare speak it in a palace of suspicion. You are reckless, yet somehow admirable." Suddenly, a faint sound echoed in the corridor outside. Alex tensed, glancing at the door. "They're coming," he whispered, "if they find me here." "Thank you, Princess Lyra." That their fates, intertwined in this palace of intrigue, had begun here and now. "You must tell me everything you know," Lyra said, stepping closer to him. "If you are truly here to prevent war, then you must trust me, and I must trust you. I can't stop it alone." It was not just a meeting of human and alien. It was a meeting of minds, of courage and understanding, of two worlds teetering on the edge of destruction. Alex felt a resolve deep within him. Whatever it took, he would act. He would prove that humanity's bravery was more than a simple word. It was a force that could change the course of history. Lyra finally spoke, her voice calm but resolute. "Then let us begin, Alex. If we are to save our worlds, we must think faster, act wiser, and trust, something few of us do willingly. Bravery, cunning, and trust would be their weapons, and the dangers that awaited outside the walls would test them in ways neither could yet imagine. For Alex, stepping into the princess's room had been a risk. For Lyra, trusting him was a gamble. But together they had ignited the spark of hope, one that might just prevent war, and perhaps show the galaxy what humanity was truly capable of. The palace corridors seemed endless, twisting and turning like the branches of a great alien tree. Alex followed Lyra closely, his senses on high alert. Every corner held shadows, every faint hum in the walls made him tense. He had walked into danger once already, and now he realized that the stakes were far higher than he had imagined. Yet, walking beside Lyra, he felt a strange confidence. She knew the palace as if it were part of her, and her calm presence was grounding. "You must understand something, Alex," Lyra said quietly as they moved. "The court is divided. Many see humans as intruders, threats, or curiosities. They will not hesitate to act against you if given the chance. Courage alone will not prevent disaster. Many of my advisors think war is inevitable. They see humans as a challenge to our dominance, not potential allies. I need proof that trust is possible before I can act openly. This," she said, gesturing to the display, "is why you cannot act alone. These halls are far more complex than they appear. Every guard, every corridor, every security measure is designed to protect the crown and to trap intruders. They hide their identities well, but they have infiltrated the council and several high-ranking positions. Their goal is to ignite war with your world for reasons of power and pride. We must expose their plans without alerting them to our knowledge. That is where you come in, Alex. Humans think differently. Your methods, your reasoning, they can surprise even the most cunning Xylarians. If they suspect our alliance, they will move faster than we can react." Alex marveled at the artistry, but he did not lose focus. Every shadow could conceal a spy, every reflective surface could reveal their presence. Finally, they reached a secluded observation deck overlooking the city. From here, Alex could see the sprawling metropolis below, its lights twinkling like stars mirrored on the planet's surface. The air was thick with the hum of energy, and distant vehicles moved like streams of light through the city. "This is one of the few places where I can speak freely," Lyra said, leaning on the railing. "Here, the council cannot see us, and the faction cannot follow us without being noticed." "It's beautiful," he said softly. "I didn't expect your world to be this alive. Why risk everything for understanding? I understand your words, but can it truly be applied in our court, where power is everything? They hide their intentions behind layers of false loyalty and ceremony." Each clue strengthened their understanding but also heightened the danger. One evening, as they reviewed data in Lyra's chamber, a sudden alarm echoed through the palace. Red lights flashed along the walls, casting sharp shadows across the crystal floors. Alex froze. "What is happening?" he asked. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "The faction suspects something. We must act quickly." She knew the palace as if it were part of her body. Every turn, every step, every shadow seemed familiar. Alex marveled at her skill, understanding why her people trusted her despite the dangerous court politics. Finally, they reached a chamber that had been sealed for decades. Inside, they found data cores containing communications between the faction members. Lyra's fingers danced across the crystalline interface, decoding the information. The room hummed with energy, and holographic projections of council meetings and private messages appeared in the air. Alex scanned the projections, his mind racing. Plans of sabotage, misinformation, and war, all detailed with chilling precision. "This is it," he whispered. "This is the proof we need." "Yes, but we must be careful. If they realize we have this, they will move against us immediately." It was risky, but Alex's human ingenuity combined with Lyra's knowledge of Xylarian systems made it possible. They would plant the evidence subtly, ensuring it reached the right hands at the right time. As they finalized their plan, Lyra turned to Alex. "You are clever, human, perhaps braver than many of my own people. I am beginning to see why humans endure, despite your short lifespans and fragile bodies. Then let us hope that belief is enough to change the course of history." Alex could feel the weight of responsibility pressing on him, but he also felt hope. For centuries, the Xylarians had relied on hierarchy, secrecy, and rigid rules. Now a human, a simple envoy from a distant world, had become part of the equation, bridging the gap between two civilizations. His courage, his perspective, and his willingness to risk everything were beginning to make a difference. Lyra watched him, her thoughts hidden behind her calm exterior. She had seen many humans before, but none like Alex, brave, intelligent, and unyielding in his sense of morality. Perhaps, she thought, humans were capable of more than she had ever imagined. Perhaps they were the allies her people needed, and the hope she had long sought. As the first light of Xalaris' twin suns crept across the horizon, Alex and Lyra stood together, ready to face the challenges that lay ahead. The faction would not stop, but neither would they. Courage, intelligence, and trust would guide their actions, and perhaps in the end, humanity's bravery could prevent a war that might have destroyed both worlds. Alex glanced at Lyra and spoke quietly. "We can do this, right?" The battle for peace had begun, and humanity's courage would shine as a beacon in the shadowed halls of the Xalarian Empire. The palace had never felt more dangerous to Alex than it did that morning. Every corridor seemed longer, every shadow heavier, as if the walls themselves were conspiring against him. The information they had gathered the night before was critical, yet it had put them in far greater peril. The rogue faction within the council was clever, and Alex could feel their eyes, unseen but always watching. Lyra moved beside him with her usual calm grace. Her eyes scanned every corner, every reflective surface, every possible entrance for spies or hidden threats. "They will not wait long," she said quietly. "The faction has learned that something is amiss. We must act before they strike first. We must move as if we are invisible, leaving no trace of our plan until it is time to act." Every sound, from the distant hum of energy conduits to the subtle movement of guards, seemed amplified. As they approached one of the central council chambers, Lyra motioned for Alex to stop. "Wait here," she whispered. She pressed her palm against the wall, and a hidden panel slid open, revealing a narrow passage. "This will take us beneath the council floor. Few know it exists, and even fewer remember it. It is largely forgotten now, which is exactly why it is perfect for us." At the end of the passage, they reached a small chamber that overlooked the council floor. From this vantage point, Alex could see the council members gathered for the morning assembly. The faction members were there, identifiable only by the subtle gestures and whispered exchanges that Lyra pointed out. "Observe," Lyra whispered. "Notice how they communicate without speaking aloud. Every movement, every glance carries a message. They are cunning, but they are not infallible. If we can decode it fully, we can anticipate their actions." Alex worked quickly, using his analytical mind to connect the patterns, while Lyra explained the meaning behind each subtle action. Together, they pieced together a hidden language that revealed not just the faction's intentions, but also their allies and potential strike points. Suddenly, a soft vibration ran through the floor. Alex froze. "Did you feel that? Someone is moving beneath us. Another passage, recently opened. They may have discovered part of our plan. They are dangerous, but we are not helpless. I understand, but I won't back down, not now, not ever. We've come too far." In that chaos, they plan to accuse my advisors and your people of sabotage. War will follow immediately. We will not have a second chance. "This is enough," he said finally. "We can expose them before they act, but we need to make it undeniable. The council must see the truth, and they must see it clearly. We will show the council the web of deception, and the proof will speak for itself." He realized that she was not only intelligent and brave but also wise beyond measure. As night fell over Xylaris, the palace settled into a tense quiet. Alex and Lyra remained vigilant, knowing that the faction could strike at any moment. Yet, in the midst of danger, they felt a sense of purpose. They were no longer merely observers, they were active participants in shaping the future of two worlds. Suddenly, an alarm echoed through the palace, a sharp, insistent warning that something was wrong. Alex's heart raced. "They've discovered us," he whispered. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "Perhaps, or perhaps it is a test. Either way, we must move quickly." Now, finally, they reached a vantage point overlooking the council chamber. The session was beginning and the faction members were already in place. Lyra took a deep breath. "This is it," she whispered. "We will act now." Holographic images appeared, showing secret meetings, coded gestures, and intercepted messages. The council members gasped, whispering among themselves. The proof was undeniable. The faction members reacted immediately, trying to disrupt the display, but Lyra had anticipated their move. Energy barriers isolated them, preventing interference. Alex watched in awe as the truth unfolded, the rogue faction exposed for all to see. The council erupted in discussion, but Lyra remained calm. She addressed them directly, explaining the significance of the evidence and the danger that had been averted. Alex stood beside her, his presence a silent testament to humanity's courage and ingenuity. By the time the session ended, the faction was contained, their plans thwarted. The council had seen the truth, and peace had been preserved for now. Alex felt a surge of relief, tempered by the knowledge that vigilance was always necessary. Lyra turned to him, her expression softening. "You did well, Alex. Brave, intelligent, and steadfast. I did not expect humans to possess such qualities. Your courage has proven that humanity can be trusted, and that trust is a powerful thing indeed." As they left the council chamber, the first light of Xylaris' twin suns illuminated the palace once more. The world outside seemed calm, but Alex knew that vigilance was never-ending. Still, he felt hope. Together, humans and Xylarians could face the future, and perhaps even prevent the darkness of war from ever falling upon their worlds again. Lyra glanced at him with a rare smile. "Rest now, Alex. Tomorrow we begin building a future, not just preventing destruction." Humanity's courage had shone in the shadows of an alien palace, and he knew that it could shine even brighter in the days to come. The morning light streamed through the crystal windows of the palace, casting long, shifting shadows across the halls. The events of the previous day still lingered in Alex's mind. The danger, the tension, and the thrill of narrowly outmaneuvering the faction. Yet now there was a new purpose. The rogue faction had been exposed, their plans thwarted, but Alex and Lyra both knew that maintaining peace required more than uncovering plots. It required vision, trust, and the courage to act where others hesitated. Lyra led Alex through the palace corridors, their steps purposeful and deliberate. The council had requested a private audience with both of them. It was not a summons for judgment, but for counsel, an acknowledgement that the two of them had earned respect through bravery and insight. As they walked, Alex marveled at the alien architecture. The corridors shimmered like liquid light, and the floors reflected the twin suns overhead, creating a kaleidoscope effect. Yet beneath the beauty, Alex sensed the weight of history, the burden of generations of leadership and responsibility. When they entered the council chamber, the assembly of Xylarian leaders fell silent. The atmosphere was tense, yet respectful. Lyra stepped forward, her presence commanding attention. "Esteemed council members," she began, her voice calm but unwavering, "we have witnessed a plot that threatened not only my people but also humanity. Thanks to the efforts of Alex Carter, we have prevented a disaster. But prevention alone is not enough. We must act to secure lasting peace. The evidence we've uncovered shows that fear and secrecy can lead to unnecessary conflict, but courage, intelligence, and understanding can prevent it. Humanity wants peace. We want a future where our worlds can cooperate, learn from each other, and thrive together. One elder, a tall Xylarian with scales that shimmered like molten silver, leaned forward. And you, human, why should we trust you? Your people are strangers to us, and we have seen humans act unpredictably in the past. Yesterday, I risked my life inside your palace to prevent a war. I stood alongside Lyra to stop a faction that sought destruction. That is my proof. Trust me not because of my species, but because of what I have done and what I will continue to do to protect both our worlds. Courage and honesty are traits that transcend species. Alex has demonstrated them fully. I stand by him, and I ask you to do the same. We recognize the truth in your words and the evidence presented. The faction has been contained, and their plans revealed. Peace shall be maintained, and an alliance with humanity shall be considered moving forward. After the council session ended, Lyra led Alex to the observation deck overlooking the city. The twin suns reflected off the skyscraping towers and flowing aerial traffic, casting the metropolis in a golden light. The council has seen the proof, and they have chosen the path of peace, Lyra said quietly. But peace is not automatic. It must be nurtured, defended, and earned every day. Your courage has changed the course of history, and your insight has preserved countless lives. They met with advisors, educated council members about human strategies and thinking, and coordinated joint security measures to ensure that no hidden threat could destabilize their peace. The process was exhausting but rewarding. Each small victory, an agreement reached, a misunderstanding resolved, a security measure implemented, felt like a step toward a brighter future. One evening, as the twin suns set and bathed the city in hues of orange and purple, Lyra invited Alex to the palace gardens. The gardens were a marvel of alien horticulture, towering bioluminescent plants, flowers that shimmered like glass, and streams that reflected the colors of the sky. It was quiet here, a peaceful sanctuary away from the politics and dangers of the palace. "You've done well, Alex," Lyra said, her voice carrying both pride and relief. "Peace has been preserved and the faction no longer poses a threat, but this is only the beginning. Your world and mine must continue to learn from each other. Humanity has a lot to offer, and I'm proud to be here, helping to build trust. Perhaps, and perhaps the galaxy has much to teach humans as well. Understanding is a two-way path. You have shown bravery and honesty. Now you must learn patience, diplomacy, and foresight. Together, we can forge a future where our worlds cooperate rather than clash." Joint research projects were proposed, cultural exchanges initiated, and trade agreements signed. The citizens of Xalaris, initially skeptical of humans, gradually came to respect and appreciate the qualities Alex had demonstrated: bravery, ingenuity, and empathy. Human diplomats and advisors began to work alongside Xalarians, learning from each other and finding common ground despite their differences. Through it all, Alex and Lyra remained close partners, their bond built on trust, respect, and shared purpose. There was a silent understanding between them. Their alliance was not about personal gain or recognition. It was about something greater: the preservation of life, the pursuit of peace, and the demonstration of humanity's unique strengths. One afternoon, while walking through a garden of floating flora that drifted like gentle clouds, Alex turned to Lyra. "Do you ever think about what might have happened if I hadn't come here? If I had followed the rules and stayed away from your room? You chose correctly, and because of that, countless lives were saved. You have shown that bravery, intelligence, and empathy are forces stronger than any weapon." Alex felt a sense of peace, knowing that their worlds were no longer on the brink of destruction, but on the path to cooperation and understanding. Yet he also knew that the future was never guaranteed. Challenges would arise, and new threats would appear. But humanity had shown its strength, and with allies like Lyra, Alex believed that no obstacle was insurmountable. As night fell, The palace lights shimmered like stars come to rest on the ground. Alex and Lyra stood together, overlooking the city below, their hearts filled with hope. They had faced danger, deception, and fear, and they had prevailed. The courage of one human and the wisdom of one alien princess had prevented war and opened the door to a future where their worlds could coexist. Alex felt a quiet pride in humanity. They were capable of great courage, profound understanding, and unwavering determination. And as he stood beside Lyra, he knew that the best of humanity had finally found a place among the stars, respected and admired by other civilizations. Lyra placed a hand gently on Alex's shoulder. "You have done well, Alex. Together, we have ensured peace, but more importantly, we have shown what is possible when courage meets wisdom. May our worlds continue to learn from one another. And with allies like you, Lyra, I believe we can do it." He had entered the palace as a stranger, a simple envoy, yet he had left a mark that could last for generations. In that quiet moment, Alex realized that bravery was not about recklessness or glory. It was about standing for what was right, even when the odds were against you. It was about trust, sacrifice, and perseverance. And humanity, despite all its flaws, had demonstrated that it could rise to the challenge. Lyra turned to him one final time, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "Let us go forward, Alex. Our journey is just beginning and the galaxy is vast. But with courage, wisdom, and trust, nothing is impossible." Together, human and alien would face whatever the future held. Together, they had proven that courage could change worlds. And with that, they walked back into the palace, ready to meet the dawn of a new era, one forged by bravery, understanding, and the enduring spirit of humanity.